We're going to look at pass, turn and move, and this is at Queen's Park Rangers, who are in that Premier League category academy system, and we're going to showcase this short video to you. So I want you to all get a pen and paper, make some notes. I'm going to play the video through, and then I am going to do some coaching points on this as we walk through as well, and show you exactly what they were doing. So within this particular session, we're looking for movements and we're looking for fast feet. We're also looking for transition within our positions. So the coach is just speaking to the players about a variation within here. So we're looking for players to spin off the cone. We're also looking for players to be scanning and setting the ball and looking to attack into space.
I'll show you this side. I set it in there, you put it there. I move, yes, bounce, bounce, and then play. Now, here's your faster. I don't like to play.
The coach is talking to Matt. He doesn't necessarily always need it on one touch. He's happy for players to take this variation on 2 touches if needed, but also he's enforcing with this older group about the importance of communication. You can probably hear on the camera the communication going on, but not only there's communication verbally, there's actually a lot of visual communication going on, as well as a lot of hand signals being reinforced by the coach. This is a great session just as an activation, just to get a little bit of passing and movement going, but also just to allow players to start transitioning from one side to the next. So that's a very short session in there, and I'm going to just whiteboard this session for you. So I'm going to get straight into the whiteboard, and we're going to talk about why this one is a really important one. And this particular session, again, this could be done with most age groups, and you can adjust it with the amount of touches, and also you can adjust it by adding in speed and working on time. And I'm just going to show you how we could do that. So just bear with me while I just connect up my screen. Okay, so one of the things that we're trying to focus on within here, you're seeing within the setup, we had a cone there, a cone there, cone there, and we had a player. We'll mark the players as X's on each cone. Okay, now what we seen was we had a player with the ball there. And the idea was this player would play the ball in, this player would look to turn, and then they would look to play either this player here or this player there. So they were the options that they were looking for. Then the next thing that happens was this particular player here then moved to here. This player moved sideways. This player in the middle moved to there. This player moved to there, and then this player moved all the way across to there. But the big focus point that we want you to really pay attention to, and the attention is in the detail. And what we're actually looking for within here is we want to make sure that players are able to pass the ball with enough weight on the pass. So we're trying to form habits. And how do we form habits? Habits could be good things, they could be bad things as well. A habit is something that is done consistently over time and is repeated, and it becomes a habit, okay? So one of the things that we want to make sure is happening in this session is wait on the pass. Why is wait important? Because we want the ball to get there. We don't want it to not get there. So when this player is drilling the ball in there, we want lots of weight on the pass, okay? The next thing is we want this person scanning. And you've got to reiterate, everyone should be scanning, but more so this person in the middle. That is their job. They should be scanning before they receive the ball, after they've received the ball, and when they've released the ball. So this is the key part that we should be looking for, and it's got to happen over both shoulders, okay? I'm sick and tired of seeing players thinking because they scan over one shoulder, that's enough. It's not. Okay, both shoulders is a requirement. Then, from this player, let's call this player 1. This is player 2. Player 3, player 4, player 5. Player 1 needs to communicate. Now, when we talk about communicate, we're talking about simple communication. And a simple communication, and you've got to agree this with your team, with your players. Turn, no turn. It is that simple, okay? So that player should be saying turn or no turn. Now, regardless if there's no defender in here defending against this player, they should be communicating that. And this player 1 should be mixing up that communication. Some should say turn, some should say no turn. So as they play that ball, if number 1 says no turn, number 2 should bounce the ball back to number 1 and then still make the way here, and then number 1 will then drill the ball into this side to play it back in, okay? And the final piece we're looking for is fast movement. And what we mean by fast movement, it's movement off the ball into your new space, and we expect the movement to be sure and sharp. Now, admittedly, if you do this with a group of 8-year-olds, it probably will look very messy and it won't look very good and it'll look very disorganized. Okay? If you do this with an older group, it might be a little bit easy. So, what I'm going to give you is, I'm going to give you a little bit of a variance. I'm going to taper it back to the younger ones. Okay? Now, with the younger ones to begin with, between player 1 and 5 here, they could have a ball between them and all they're doing is passing and receiving. 3 and 4 could have a ball and all they're doing is passing and receiving amongst themselves. Player 2 could have a ball and they're just doing juggling. And you do that for 1 minute and then you call a rotation. And they all rotate positions. 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 3. Okay? What that's going to build up is, it's going to build up passing. And it's going to build up receiving, which is an important part of the bigger drill. So what we've done by doing this is, we've actually isolated the drill. And we've pulled it to what we call a micro level, to make it easy for the players. Now, if your younger players start to get successful with that, and then you go back into the main part of the session and it still looks really scrappy and it doesn't look good, well, this is what you could do. You could get 1 working with 2, with 3. So the pass now is a lot longer, and they're just passing and receiving over a longer distance. 4 and 5 are passing and receiving over a longer distance. And number 2 is still juggling, or keepy uppies, whatever we call it. okay? Then again, you can then isolate it into this section, and then you can pull it back out, back to the normal way of going. So that's a good way to look at it for your younger age groups. If you find that they struggle and you want to isolate it and give them a chance to get better, because you might find that the passing, the receiving's not going well. So it's pointless doing this if they can't pass and receive properly. But also remember, we don't want this to look perfect and it looks amazing, because that means development's not happening. We want it to look a little bit messy. And remember, we focus on this 40-60 rule, okay? We want to be in that 40% of success, and we want to be 60% fail, and that's where development happens, okay? So if we're talking about our younger ones, we want to be enforcing that the passing's good, receiving's good, and the final thing is we want to encourage scanning, okay? So before player 3 receives the ball from player 1, we want to see scanning, both shoulders. And if it's not happening, that's your moment to step in and just speak with player 3 and player 1. Leave player 2 to do what they're doing, and leave player 4 and 5 leave them. If they're doing it right, don't stop the whole session. And this is my pet hate with coaches. They will stop the whole session to make a point because one group's not doing it right, okay? Now, if all of them are not doing it right, then obviously we need to speak with all of them. But again, it's in. If it takes you longer than 20 seconds to explain, okay, what you're looking for, then we've got a problem. If you know scanning's not happening, stop, stand still. Okay, number 3, I need to see you scanning over both shoulders before you receive the ball. Every time you receive the ball and you don't scan, I'm going to take a point off you. Every time you scan on both shoulders and you receive the ball, I'm going to give you 5 points. Play. It's that quick. It's short and sharp and concise. Do not go into a 6-minute whiteboard session on scanning, okay? It doesn't work regardless of the age group that you're working with. Now, if we're looking at older age groups, we want to obviously encourage pass and receiving, but they should be givens with the older age groups. Okay, we shouldn't need to isolate them, but what we need to do is challenge the older age group. So what we can add in here is a mini goal. Okay, we got our mini goal in there. And we can add in a defender, and a defender. Okay, so we've got 5 versus 3. Now, what you would do is, to begin with, you would start it the way we showed you at the beginning. But then to take it up a level, you would go 5v3. And this is what you say. You say to the X's, so the teams 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, you say to them players, if you can make a complete set all the way around, so 1 plays to 2, 2 plays to 3 to 4, all the way back into 5, then they're then allowed to then have a shot at the goal. Okay, and they've only got 10 seconds to score. If the defenders win the ball at any point, they're allowed to have a shot at goal, but again, they've only got 10 seconds to score a goal, and it's open play. What will start to happen is the movements will start to happen like a proper central midfielder in here, and we will start to see players under pressure when they're trying to pass, turn and move. And this is a great way to take it up a level. So I think what you're seeing here again is the power of this session that you've just seen at QPR, which we showed you on this screen, okay? I think we've just shown you that it doesn't matter the age group, because if you follow this particular session, pass, turn and move, now you've watched this video with me, you're going to be able to, what we call, sort of lower it down to the skill set of a 7 or 8 year old group, or you can actually take it up a level to a senior men's or women's open squad. Would this be a drill that teams like Barcelona or Real Madrid men's team would do. 100%. Of course they would. But it's having the knowledge and the skill set to be able to make it simple for the younger age groups or the ones with less ability, or to take it up a level depending on who you're coaching in the age group. I hope you enjoyed that one. That is an amazing little session.